my friend and I, we were able to go to the Ace holiday party in some maybe not completely legal ways. and we
got in there.
You know what? We got in.
I could explain. I got your bios. I know about both of you, but I would love for you to kind of share about yourself. Tell us, a little bit about where you're from and what it is that you do, what your title is.
I'm from Dallas, Texas originally. My mom's from the East Coast. My dad's from West Africa. I came here to LA for school for pursuing a love of film.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm an assistant editor. Started out as a post PA and then have slowly making my way up since.
I'm from Austin, Texas, specifically a small little rural town outside of Austin, Kyle, Texas. I fell in love with film based off of just ending up on a film set. That kind of just changed my whole perspective on what I should be doing. And then got into assistant editing. And then I've been kind of gas pedal ever since.
Is the industry what you thought it would be before you got into it?
I think that I walked in with no expectations because since I was a child, my dad wanted me to be a lawyer. And I decided film very last minute in high school. And so I got into USC and I was like, ooh, I don't know what I'm doing. It was post-COVID, post-strikes.
Yeah.
And so all I knew was this industry. But all I hear is from people in previous generations and people who've worked before saying every project or who I get to talk to, oh, it's not supposed to be like this. Oh, it's not like this. Normally, this is abnormal. But this is all I know. So part of me is wondering, maybe that's a strength of saying okay, well, I've been working with what I have right now.
Yeah.
But also wondering where's the industry going because of this? But I don't know. I'm still very optimistic.
Yeah.
I feel like the community is really strong, which I think is the only reason that film is still thriving.
The people that I joined when I first got into the industry in reality television, I was very upfront with them. I was like, man, I'm coming from, a career and degree in construction management, urban planning. And, but I want to bring that over, the knowledge I have of teamwork and big scale thinking and other things like that. And they embraced me. They were like, we'll teach you everything we know. Cause it just so happened that the reality show that I got with, it was home renovation. So they were like, oh, you're the guy that knows construction. and so they embraced me. And I learned kind of the Avid and all these other things. And so the way I thought about Hollywood was these people embrace me. There's a whole city on the West Coast full of people that, you work hard, you have a craft, you love your craft. There's going to be people that are going to find you and they're going to embrace you. And you guys are going to kind of strengthen along the way. And I was like, okay, well, I'm doing this right here, but my goal is Los Angeles. And so getting out here, you start to find your people. You hear that all the time. And so it's been a good experience. But like Annabelle said, I came into the industry as well. I switched careers during the whole strikes and the COVID. And when I think about it, that's crazy.
Yes.
But this city is really full of people that will embrace you if you have the right heart and the right type of dedication to kind of do this thing.
I actually walked in to school wanting to be a cinematographer. I had always working at my dad's store, convenience store, in the sweltering heat in Dallas, Texas, in the middle of summer with broken air conditioning. I always told myself that I was going to work a job where I am sitting down and where there's air conditioning.
I feel that.
And I found out on set, cinematographers absolutely do not do that. And I was livid. And I also found out that it was just not my people.
Yeah.
And so I felt lost because I was wondering what's the next step. I built everything to come here. At first it was hard to fit in. We were the year of COVID for freshman year.
Wow.
So it was very lonely. And I think that first semester, I wanted to get ahead in my credits and was loading up on all the classes so I could stay away from my family for 1 minute. And much love to them. And I took an editing class and I fell in love. And also, most editors work in air conditioning and they sit down. But I found out that people had standing desks. But regardless, I was like, this is a little bit closer to what I want.
Yeah.
But I think the craft element of it all was so enticing because I felt like when I got like attracted to cinematography, I was like the beauty of it all. But you kind of like turn over the ingredients that you've held over into someone else. But when you're an editor, you're right there with like where everything is.
Yeah.
And you're in the mix. You're making the story, just like as how Kakhi was saying. And being right there and supporting your director and watching a movie like come to life was just amazing. And learning about different editing techniques and running around with friends, trying to get footage from everybody's short films, trying to put it together, and then finding out miserably that some things do not work and finding, you know, magic when it does was just like so inspiring. And I was like, I think I really need to do this. And I don't know, I've been in love ever since.
I was really trying to figure out how to get involved with storytelling. I did that while I was still kind of working my other career. And I was like, okay, if I really want to do this, I need to like do the thing, like make a little short film, see what everything's about, and then make my career transition. And I did that with some local Austin talent. And where I fell in love with like post is the editing process. It was just my editor. He was like, sit back, take a breath. We got this. It's going to be fine. And we kind of found the magic in that. That's whenever I just put all my energy into the post career. I mean, I read books. I went to every, you know, social thing that there was in Austin, Texas. For a long time, I was flying out to LA, going to ACE events. I was putting up my own dime to do these things and started communicating with editors that I really admired, from TV shows to movies. And so, that was kind of just how I got my feet wet. And then I got into reality. It's just a really great place for assistants to come up, I believe, because also you become extremely technical. You know, proper organization, you know, you're supporting sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 editors at a time. And it's just a really good hub to just figure out media.
I had a professor recommend me the ACE internship specifically. I was really nervous because I was like, I don't even know what ACE is. And he emphasized that it's like this amazing honorary society for editors. And he really wanted his students who were in post to really try to reach for the stars. A lot of times when people like go for like positions in post, people try to like squash their dreams and try to dissuade you.
Talk about that a little bit. I'd like you to elaborate a little bit more, because this is a safe space. We just want to be real.
Of course.
We're trying to let the people know.
I think, well, already going into film is a huge leap of faith. I mean, you definitely took a huge leap of faith. A career transition and moving into the arts is huge, and it's very scary. As a Black student, fitting in the USC space was a little difficult. And I did find friends, but I feel like getting that perspective was hard. And so and also being a Black woman in post, I was like, I have never seen like another Black woman in post ever. And if I do know of one, she seems very, very far away and unreachable.
Starting back in like early 2023, you know, I saw an interview and they were like, you should reach out to your favorite editors. That is what you do. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can track down some of these people and reach out to them. And, you know, I'm in Texas. I know they don't got much to, you know, they can do for me, but like, I want to let them know I am like a bona fide lover of the craft of editing. And I started to do that. And I started reaching out to editors, and, you know, you reach out and, you know, some fall on deaf ears, but then people start to reach back out to you. I just started a dialogue with editors. Like, hey, just finished another season of reality television. How are things for you? I saw this show, you know, that you just dropped, you know, it went really well. You know, I hope it does good in Emmy season, you know, and just people that like, I just admired their craft. And the ACE internship came from like one of them. They're like, hey, have you ever heard of the ACE internship? You should apply. And then like one person mentioned it. And then like, obviously some of my emails follow up, and then one person was like, hey, you should apply for the ACE internship. And I was like, okay. So I started like looking into like what this ACE internship was. And I think to anybody that wants to first get into, not ACE, but just get into editing in general, you need to go find people that are doing what you want to do, because those people are happy to inform you. They're happy to inform you.
My friend and I, we were able to go to the ACE holiday party in some maybe not completely legal ways. and we
got in there.
You know what? We got in. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And we were like kids in a candy shop, and we were still in school. And we were like, all of our favorite editors are in a room and they're drinking and eating and having fun. This is perfect.
Yeah.
And so I feel like with all the people that were trying to turn me away, like, and trying to say, oh, this isn't worth it. Oh, like, you're never going to make it. Or, oh, there's not a place for you. Like, already in film, already in post, like the stories that people already tell, there's no space, And I walk in and I see a group of like Black women editors at the ACE holiday party. And I know that seems like such a little thing, but it really like inspired me.
It's huge.
It's huge. Representation is huge.
Yeah.
Showing that it can happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, ever since then, I was like, I got to find a way to get in there.
Yeah.
Through very legal ways.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love the intentionality from you both, and there's no doubt the reason why you were both chosen for the ACE internship. Can you talk about what it was like once you got in and what that experience was like? Because when we saw you guys, it was like, it was such, it was happy, it was joy, and they were celebrating you both. But talk about your experience and what that was like to finally be in there and kind of like build on the career, like at the beginning stages.
Yeah, I think when we got it, we were over the moon. I actually had landed back in Texas and got the call that I had gotten it, and it was just a really good experience. But once I had to drive back to LA from Texas, and once we were like in it that Thursday, me and Annabelle were just like, okay, like we're going into our first cutting room, like. Yeah. How do we, do we sit like this?
Where do I put my arms?
Yeah, and once we finally got in there and we were around these other professionals, they were just people just loved editing like we did, loved storytelling like we did, and they were welcoming.
ACE takes mentorship really like very seriously,
yeah.
And that every step of the way, we never felt alone. Because I feel like going into these cutting rooms, because the internship mostly is shadowing.
Okay.
So basically, we're getting like a tour around the world of all kinds of filmmaking. I mean, like genres of post. So we're getting narrative feature, like unscripted TV, scripted TV. We got to do a day an animated feature. We got a couple days for documentary feature. So we're being taken to these cutting rooms and getting to see the inside work, the parts that you never get to see, where most people get to see maybe one or two kinds of film. We got to see all of them. And not only are we able to get to these cutting rooms, people know that we're coming and we're invited and people want to teach. And it was an amazing experience in the way that we were together at first and then we went on our own. I'm walking by myself into this like cutting room and I'm so nervous and everyone is so warm, full of smiles. And people are like, oh, do you want to come into my room? I want to show you this. Oh, like there's like, this is my layout of my keyboard. Do you want to check it out? Here's like my favorite hotkey and all that kind of stuff. So people were just so excited to have us. And I feel like we learned a lot of the hard skills, but we learned a lot of the soft skills. I think this is kind of a double-pronged answer because on a technical level, one of the assistants that I got really close with, she had a turnover notebook and it was decked out. So she would make printouts and manually check off all of these steps of her turnover. And then she would digitally check it off so that everyone in the whole team like could be up to date. And then when she introduced that, everyone started using that. So then they had a master turnover hub, which they used to constantly be on top of turnover organization.
Yeah.
But I think the soft skill thing that she taught me was every day before her editor came in, she would come in early and she would just take off like trash off the desk and organize like, all of the things on her desk just so that the editor can not only be decluttered on the timeline, but also be decluttered in the space.
One moment that I can think of is the doc.
Yes.
They had, they were working on a particular thing and they brought us in and we watched, I think it was maybe like the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And I mean, they asked for our opinion.
Yes.
Like thoroughly.
Yeah.
And I think as like a young creative and somebody that's getting into this industry, I think when an editor is looking for an assistant is obviously somebody that's technically sound and they know the job, but like somebody that can be objective with them, but tactful and just have their own POV. I mean, that's why we all get into the arts, is to have a POV on how we see things. And I was really appreciative, like watching the editor, ask us, how we felt about something. The director wasn't in there, but like they were asking us of the work that they had already done. Yeah. And we gave our 2 cents, and it was a nice time because we kind of felt like, whoa, like we're just visitors, but they want to know what we think. And we weren't fighting for any cuts, but I think that's why we get into it, is to collaborate and talk, and I felt welcomed in that regard. So,
how long was the internship, you guys?
4 weeks.
Yeah,
4 weeks.
4 and some weeks.
Okay, yeah.
Because we did a week with sprinkled in, which was like doc and animation, and then we did the faculties week.
Or
facilities week.
Facilities week,
yeah.
which is really, really impressive.
Yes.
It's like, the part of post that nobody ever has money for. It's like the color and the sound.
Yes.
But like to see these pros at this level, the colorist, and going to photo cam and walking the facility, color, and all those people that finished, the TV and the film. I mean, those people are the unsung heroes.
Yeah.
We also got to go to a post house or a sound house where we got to see Foley artists in their element. We got to see sound designers in their element, how people record, ADR and all of that stuff, all the peripheries of like posts that we like outside of picture never get to see when you're in the cutting room. Yeah. So it really was like an all-encompassing experience. And then after that week, we jumped right in to our shadowing.
My goodness.
So it was a high-speed, high-powered month.
How do you feel overall? And maybe talk about one show or a project that you're working on now, and all those things that you just talked about, how you've been able to take that and now you're in the world doing it, and it's not a shadow, it's the real deal.
All the focus, I mean, kind of pays off in this regard once you kind of get through, all the work you put in. And the internship obviously helps with a lot of support and community. Mm-hmm. And now that kind of in the real world, working on a union show, working on Reasonable Doubt, that's just been a blessing. And I think one of the, the highlights of my career so far is that, you still have to go out there and get a job, right? Yeah. And because of ACE, it's so, supportive. But I have to shout out to my editor, Salim Aziz, when I was getting started, and I was looking for that, first union job, a black man thought of me, and I got my first job. And he said something, he was like, you reminded me of me when I got started, and I just want to make it a little easier for you. Yeah. Getting started, and I was like, duly noted. Like, that's something I have to try to find a way to pass on. And it's really changed my perspective, because I always think, I'm like, well, I mean, obviously opportunity would come, but like he shortened that for me, as a black man. And so I just think being out here in this real world, I think we got to think of each other. We got to give each other opportunities. You got to work hard. I mean, one of my mom's biggest words when I was growing up is that focus. Yeah. That focus is serious, man. Yes. We get so distracted, and, getting through the career change and the reality, and getting the ACE internship, and then getting the first job, like that took a lot of extreme focus. So I just think, to anybody that's kind of on their way, once you feel like you're here and you're looking for a job, like that's going to take extreme focus. Yeah. There's people that have been doing this for a really long time ahead of you, and they are hitting the ground running with extreme focus. Mm-hmm. And so you just have to be focused on like getting your job, doing well at your job, getting off of that job and then getting the next job. Like it's a constant stream of focus. And so I just think that that's kind of what I hang my hat on.
The exposure that we got through the internship was also invaluable. Meeting so many people, being able to have an in with so many people, being able to email so many people was amazing. So I was not only finding friends who are now very close, lifelong friends that I found through the program and through the events that ACE held, but also finding mentors everywhere. People who want to teach. People were saying, hey, I'm cutting the show. Do you want to like shadow me doing dailies? And you're like, absolutely, I do. And building those relationships are so important. I had kept in communication with a documentary producer who had made a lot of things about like, you know, people of color, and we bonded over West Africa. She had a project and she was like, so normally our production company does everything in Premiere, but the editor that we hired only works in Avid. And so we're actually looking for an Avid assistant. And I was like, that's crazy. The subject matter of the movie was so near and dear to my heart. It was about Kwame Nkrumah, the first prime minister of Ghana.
Wow.
The first Black prime minister of Ghana, the first president of Ghana. And these are stories that my dad has been telling me over the dinner table since I was 5. And I was like, I felt so connected to the story. And the fact that I even had the chance to work on it was amazing. But working with people who were passionate about West Africa and kind of getting like a front row seat to the creation of story in a documentary, an empty timeline, and then going to a full timeline with a whole story interweaved was amazing. And no, it was definitely an amazing job, like right after the internship. And I think because I was a post PA before the internship. I'd never been an assistant. Even though I had my Avid skills, I was like, just like Kakhi said, you need someone to take a chance on you. And I really got that, and that meant so much to me. The film world is a big party, and you just need one person to invite you in. Just one. And if you're industrious and take advantage and take initiative and, like you said, focus, discipline, follow up, but also not just the strong stuff, the emotional part, checking in on people, treating people as people, because they are. And, you know, forming real relationships, all that like accumulated to this amazing, you know, community that I had, that when I was working on my project, even though I felt like I had the skills, there were still some things that I needed. I had people to call. I had people to text. You know, when an editor asked me something, but she's going through a lot, I'm like, just give me 1 minute. I'm outside calling someone saying, hey, do you know what this means? And just having that support system can strengthen you and show you that you can do anything. If you learn fast and you can pick up fast and you can always find a solution and not letting yourself get stuck. I think that's the biggest asset as an assistant or anyone in film, I think. Because it's so easy to be like, well, the computer's not working. So I don't know what to do. You need to figure out what to do. You need to figure out now, quickly. There's a screening in 3 hours. You need to figure it out.
Right now.
Who do we call? Do we need to call IT? Do you have a friend who's actually encountered this situation before? I actually keep a log of every issue that I've ever encountered in Avid in this giant index. And what is it called? Tickets. And I can review through keywords. And just to be able to revisit things that I've gone through, because we learn through our mistakes.
Yes, we do.
You know? And so being able to be supported while you make your mistakes, and, you know, for people who aren't afforded a lot of mistakes, you know, being able to be prepared, have focus and discipline and empathy is just the only way to make it through this industry.
You always hear like it's, you know, it's who you know, or like it's, you know, build relationships, and that's like at the core of it. Like, because your jobs so far, I've been able to do 2 jobs that are union, and they both were random phone calls, you know, or random emails. And they kind of fall from the sky, but they really don't. They're like, they came from somebody that made that fall from the sky. And so I think that you have to strengthen your relationships with people and get to know them and what they like and what they don't like. You know, what they like to do, how hard if they work to get where they've gotten, see where you relate, and you'll just continue to just bond with people and get on with people. And it just kind of works itself out that way.
Man, I mean, both of you are dropping some real, like, just powerful commentary about this navigating. We could go on and on. We not gonna keep y'all. But just talk to us, tell us where people can follow you and follow your work for moving forward. We wanna definitely stay in touch with you and just share that with us real quickly.
Well, my Instagram is That's Not My Name, but with a Z and MA because I made it when I was 13. And you can find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But I'm very approachable, I promise.
Yeah.
You can find me at KTMJ Filmmaker on Instagram. That's kind of the main spot to kind of get with me. But
yeah, no, we're excited to see. We got some content that's coming out. Definitely keep us posted on how we can support and share the love. But both of you, we thank Ace. We thank you both for your time. And just we're so happy to see the growth and the journey. And we're going to look back at this interview years from now and be like, man, that's where it started, and to see what you're doing. So we're just happy we're invested in the career, and however we can help support, let us know.
you guys have supported, man.
Yes.
You guys have been around for a long time, so we appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us. This means a lot.
It's incredible. Incredible. Shout out to you guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this latest episode of Post in Black. We celebrate Black excellence behind the lens. Make sure you follow us, subscribe, like, everything. Subscribe to the channel, share this with your network and your audience, and make sure you stay tuned for the next episode. Until then, stay black.